My favorite thing in Minecraft is exploring my infinite world and seeing the beauty around me. So I took all of that away. In this new world, I'm stuck on a 16 by 16 chunk, surrounded by boiling hot lava, with a pumpkin stuck on my face. I decided to take on the worst challenge ever, so you don't have to. On day 1, I saw the world through new eyes. And it sucked! I can't see a darn thing, but I better cut down this tree and get myself some tools anyway. Getting the basics kept me pretty busy all day, but by day 2, the world decided that life with a pumpkin head just wasn't hard enough. My hunger started going down, and there's literally nothing to eat around here. Stop looking at those cows. That's a dumb idea. We need them alive. I started a little farm, but I won't be able to make bread for a while. So I dug a staircase down into the chunk, hoping to find a zombie so I could chew on some disgusting decomposed booty steak. Well, I didn't find that, but I did find a message from my map designer. Look down. I know it's scary. There's some nice blocks down there for you to build with. You have to get them the right way. Yeah, this is surely going to be fun later. Then, on day 6, somebody in my stream chat came up with a great suggestion. Once again proving that you guys are better at Minecraft than I am. Armed with a pair of shears, I started ravaging my recently planted forest to collect lots and lots of leaves. Slam those in a composter and you'll get a fair bit of bone meal, enough to speed up the farming operation by a lot. The next day, I farmed and farmed and farmed. I'm sure the progress would have made me smile if I could have actually seen it. Ah! I have to wear this thing for another 93 days! Why? On account of not seeing I also have no idea how this happened, but on day 8, all the cows escaped and I had to get them back in their pen. Just 92 more days. I can do this. On day 9, curiosity got the better of me. So I made my way down to the bottom of my world to see what these challenges are all about. The only thing I know is that the rewards should be blocks that open up my building palette a bit. We're not going to find a beacon, elytra, or anything crazy in there, but extra building blocks can help a lot with my final goal of transforming this chunk. At day 10, I was somehow still alive because I was smart enough to not do any of the stupid parkour challenges. So I went back to breeding cows. Until only a day later, the sensible part of my brain was taking a nap and idiot Loony took over with dreams of a mob farm. I'm sure I could build it if I mined cobblestone for like an hour, but snow blocks would make it a lot faster. So, day 12 was spent practicing the lava boat moves on dry land until I had made peace with the fact that I was about to die for the first time. And if that's the case anyway, I might as well start with this water bucket MLG where I can't see the bottom! No! Yes! So the lava boats are next. I took a little while to get ready for it, but eventually I decided there was nothing to it. I just had to go for it. I just had to try it even if we were gonna fail. And then against my own expectations I actually made it. But that presented another challenge. If I die with these snow blocks, we're gonna have to try again. So I took only 2 and I went for it again. Let's go! After a straight day of peak performance, I found out that snow is even more OP than I knew. You can instantly break snow layers with a stone shovel. That's just nuts! So I crafted and broke a ton of stone shovels. And with all that snow, I spent days 14 and 15 crushing my shift key with my pinky finger while I built a mob farm above my chunk and worried about falling to my death. I still couldn't see anything, but things were looking up. The mob farm meant that I was now doing really well in terms of development. It was time to focus on enchanting again. There is only a very limited supply of ores in a single chunk, so I need to get my hands on a fortune pickaxe to make those resources count. Day 16 was spent looking for diamonds, making my enchanting table and killing most of the cows I had bred up. Unfortunately, I got nowhere near the amount of leather that I needed. I could have sworn that I had more cows, but maybe my eyes had deceived me. I've been streaming everything up to this point, but we were nearing the end of the first streaming day of this challenge. So I spent the majority of days 17 and 18 building up my starter house. We needed a place for the enchanting table, and I wanted to have something to show for the first stream. Even if I couldn't quite see it because of, you get it by now, do you? Yeah, life is hard, and melons are way better than pumpkins. At least on day 19, I had a starter house, and that was pretty cool. As I was breeding cows and cutting trees though, I found a zombie villager in the mob farm. Now, in any normal world, this could have been a really big find, but I'm not going to the nether in this challenge. So I can't get a potion of weakness, and that means I can't cure this guy unless I use a witch. I can't really see that happening though. See what I did there? Still, I got the villager out of the farm and put him in a boat. You never know. Day 20 really wasn't anything special. I bred cows all day, and that's pretty much it. The next day, though, I actually heard a witch inside the mob farm. So again, I sealed off the tube and killed everything except for the witch. If you've seen my Parkour world, you know that I don't have the best track record when it comes to keeping snowmen safe. And yeah, apparently that's a common theme across worlds now. No! Anyway, I managed to get the witch in a boat. Still, I'm not entirely sure if we're going to get villagers because I don't think it's worth it. Unless I can find another one so we can breed them. Day 22 was probably the best day of the entire challenge so far. I finally had enough leather to get level 30 enchantments, and I decided to risk it and got this monster of a pickaxe as a reward, which is exactly what I needed to see a way forward. Kinda. The next 3 days, I spent combing out pretty much the entire chunk with strip mines to find all the resources I could get my hands on. It was honestly pretty shocking how few ores you find in an entire chunk. Still, I found plenty of riches, so on day 27, I felt like I had made it. So I crafted up all the resources I had to invest in an automated pumpkin farm. And then when I thought I had everything ready, I realized that I needed nether quartz. But I wasn't going to the nether during this 100 days. This chunk is all I have. So, did I just throw? Most of my gold is now powered rails. Most of my iron, normal rails. Is this world about to join the club of 27 as its least iconic member by a distance? Well, not if it was up to day 28. Because immediately after thinking that I had completely fumbled this challenge, we found a second villager in the mob farm. And there was just enough gold left to make 2 golden apples and cure them both. But only if we could get the witch to throw a potion of weakness on them. And that was easier said than done. It took me 2 days and a whole lot of buckets of milk to figure out that a witch has a small chance to throw a weakness potion, but only if you are within 3 blocks. But finally, we got it. I gave the villagers their golden apples, and that meant this world was about to look very different. I guess. Day 31 felt like the longest day of this entire challenge. I spent most of the day harvesting crop and planting new ones. But really, I was just waiting for these guys to cure. And then, when they finally did, all the potential in the world opened up. We could do all sorts of things now. I could dream of villager trades, an iron farm, and everything that became a realistic option beyond these goals. So I spent day 32 and 33 preparing for a villager breeder, and I killed some iron golems to get a little bit of spending iron while we progressed. Everything was going great now, but we had a setback coming in hot. Somehow, it's always the moment you're flying high where you get reckless and take a tumble. I died to an iron golem. While my recording was paused, let's write this one down. To death by dumbassery. On the positive side, that incident left me without any levels to worry about losing, so I decided this was the perfect opportunity to take on the remaining parkour challenges down at the bottom of the world. The nether parkour was simple enough and left me with access to crimson stems, but the spruce was a lot more challenging. I chose to try my unpracticed lava boating skills anyway, and then I did it again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again. But after most of my pumpkins were fried lava cake, I had to abandon the cause. This wasn't going to work. So on day 36, I broke my bed, jumped in the lava one last time, and spawned back on top of the mob farm, where I was confronted with a rather serious design flaw. Apparently, there was a huge hole in the top of the farm from a creeper that had spawned on top, and then exploded. I made my way down through the inside of the farm, climbed back up along the outside to patch up the hole and light up the top. The next day, I was finally back on track, so it was time to get back on the villager progress. I had to clear out some space for an iron farm, so during day 37 through 39, I dug out 16 layers of the junk and set up the beds for the farm. On day 40, I spent a lot of time trading with the villagers. There were emerald signs spinning in my eyes, and for the first time ever, I understood how Luke the Notable feels. I considered rebuilding my entire world out of emerald blocks until I remembered I actually enjoyed designing things. Still, I wanted to ride the LTN wave for a little bit, so on day 41 and 42, I farmed lots of pumpkins, made a potato farm as well, and I started fishing for a name tag for a zombie in the iron farm. After a few minutes of fishing, I decided that it would probably be more effective to try and get a custom mob in the farm instead. So I abandoned my fishing rod, made railways, transported villagers, and then at the end of day 44, I took a rare nap to skip the night. Before we get a mob in place, custom or named, I need a killing chamber for the iron farm. So I built that on day 45, before spending all of day 46 trying to get that custom mob. It proved to be more tricky than I had expected, because, well, have I mentioned how I can't see shit? Anyway, on day 46, I managed to get a zombie holding an arrow, and an arrow in my eye socket to match the aesthetic. It was worth it. The next 3 days were spent finishing up the iron farm, struggling with the fact that iron golems are quite happy to spawn inside of walls. What? This dude just phased through the wall. He spawned in the farm and then just glitched out. Anyway, this was a struggle that was well worth it. Because once we hit the midway marker on day 50, I had a functioning iron farm, which was honestly more than I expected to accomplish during these 100 days. But we were only halfway there. So I decided to set my goals a lot higher than they had been. First things first though. The structural integrity of this construction is questionable at best. So I spent day 50 through 56 making the walls of the iron farm look good, while being very careful not to create any valid spawning spots for the iron golems outside of the farm. On day 57, I was feeling great. The walls for the iron farm were a cool upgrade, so I decided to take it one step further and I cut down these trees I've been growing to make room for a proper storage area. On day 58, my ADD definitely didn't get the better of me, so if anyone tries to tell you that I spent 5 days on random tasks like harvesting crops and trading with villagers, it's just not true. Still, on day 63, I found myself with enough emeralds to purchase myself a fancy suit of diamond armor, which would have been impossible to get without the villagers, because there's simply not that many diamonds to be mined in a single chunk. My distraction adventure had been a ginormous success, but it was time to get back on track. There are now 36 days left, and to make the most of those, I got a list together of all the things we definitely need to get done before day 100 comes around. I want to get some rare mobs with pumpkins on their heads too, so I don't suffer alone. Also, it's Halloween today, so we can actually do that. A museum area to put all the mobs in, and then the entire chunk needs a spooky makeover. And then, we got a big surprise for day 100, but I'm not spoiling that one yet. Before we start crossing things off that list, I need to clean up the mess we've made so far. So day 65 through 71, I spent fixing all the issues we don't want to see by the end. I cleaned up the walls around the villager area, made a garden next to the storage room, dug out the room for the museum area, and I got everything ready for the final push live on stream. Just as I was getting ready at the start of day 72, I found a zombie villager with a pumpkin on his head. So naturally, I tried dropping him down to the museum in a boat, which got me killed. Why in a boat? I have no idea, don't even ask. Day 73 was a glorious struggle to get my gear back, and unfortunately some of it had ended up in lava. Among other things, my Silk Touch pickaxe could not be recovered. Gone, but not forgotten. We had some good times. When I started stream on day 74, the first order of business was putting all these pumpkins I had been collecting throughout the entire challenge to good use by transforming the mob farm to be less of an eyesore. Now, you could argue that I'm technically building outside of the chunk, and I am. Fight me in the comments, alright? I just want this place to look good. On day 75, I demonstrated that I had learned exactly nothing from my incident with the zombie villager when I took this incredible find for a boat dive as well. A zombie in diamond armor that had spawned in a mob farm earlier. I actually haven't seen one of these in 1800 days in my hardcore world. So this is crazy. Anyway, I risked both of our lives since you can now take fall damage in a boat. This time, things worked out as I should though. With the first mobs in the museum area, it was now time to make it look good. So I spent days 76 through 79 transforming the room into something worthy of the term museum. Then, on day 80, a moment came that I've been looking forward to since the very beginning. You guys thought that a single chunk could contain me? Hell nah! I'm branching out. I will build as far out of here as I want to. In this case, not very far, but dang, those are some cool looking skeletons, don't you think? Well, they had taken me another 6 days of construction, so time was really running out by now. I spent days 87 through 90 trying to quickly get the mobs in the museum, but failing miserably at it. It took me forever to realize that I had been killing them with the Thorns 1 the armor villager had put on my chest plate. After disenchanting that, I finally managed to get a cool collection together. And with that, I had done everything I wanted to do and more by day 91. So I used the remaining days to add as many details as I could before the grand finale on day 100. And let me tell you, there's a lot of cool stuff in this one chunk for 100 days of work. If you want to check it out, the world download of both the empty chunk as well as my version are down in the description. Then, day 99 finally came around. There was just one thing left to do. No Loony challenge gets to end without a trademark fireworks show at the end. So with the poppies from the iron farm and the gunpowder from the mob farm, I set up a firework display for day 100. And right as I was ready, the game gave me a real thunderstorm to end it with a proper bang. Dang, that was a wild ride. You'd almost forget that I couldn't see during any of it.